Hi, welcome to Design It with Tammie Gibbs. I'm Tammie, and I'm going to be working inside Artistly 6, and I'm going to be using the AI Artist Guide the AI Artist Playbook and Mastering Mockups today. But I'm also going to be testing out how we can use the playbook with Artistly's new feature, which is the ad creator. I think it is ad creator. It's in beta, but I'm going to upload a little birthday invitation that's in my store, and just to sample it, I'm going to choose 4 ads, and I'm going to um, leave it at this size because that's a good dimension and everything. And I have already, I'm testing out the playbook here. Let me go to the right page. So we're going to go under kids birthday invitations, and then we're going to scroll down to the princess. Where's that here? Okay, so I'm going to use our prompt starter down here just to make it easy so you guys can kind of follow along. So this is going to be sort of our little starter to give us some, something to build on, a frame. So we're going to go here, and now it says, what's your creative idea? So number one, I'm going to put create a mock-up, create a trendy mock-up for the above invitation using this as a creative reference. No text. And then I'm going to paste this in here. So we're just going to test it out. The first step that it's going to do is it is going to generate some prompts, because it goes out and it's supposed to look and all this and that. Then when you do generate, it says understanding product category and niche, scanning top performing ads, extracting trending hooks, auto generating. Now, I did tell it no text. I don't know if it'll follow that or not. And then our next step is we actually have to come back and click generate image. So it's sort of a two-step process. I know that we have done the mock-up. I've done tutorials using the mock-up mastering mock-ups playbook in a couple of different ways. But this is just another way that you can use it. Okay, so this one's not bad. It seems a little bit out of focus and everything. I want to show you some that I did previously. I really like this one. Now, what I would do with this one, and I'm going to download it and just show you how you can fix. I don't like that this envelope has this writing on it and everything. So I'm going to show you inside Canva how we can fix that. And I'm just going to go over here. And I'm going to upload that image here and do edit. Okay, I'm going to take the magic eraser. I'm going to make it go down a little bit. And then this is one of the ways you could get rid of that, It's just to erase that writing off of it, since I don't like that. But I do like the basics of that particular prompt. Now, you do have to check when you are doing any of these to kind of make sure that it does look like your actual invitation, so that you don't have a problem. But again, there's another way that we can do this as well. Let me go back in here really quick. Missed a little bit here. Might have to do that again. Okay, so now that envelope is good. So then we can go into create design here. And there's two things you can do. If you're worried about your image here, not necessarily, I hope that doesn't remove that. Okay, put it in here. So this is really pretty, but if you're concerned about like your invitation, the AI not reproducing it exactly the way it should be, then what you can do is just go back over here. And what I can do is I can upload the original that is my actual product. I can take and go into here, go to edit, and go over here to the magic grab. And I can grab the envelope. That's going to make it where I can move the envelope. And see, I can either take the envelope off completely. I'm just going to actually copy this so I can have two different ones. Duplicate the page. Okay. So now we have it this way. I can leave it there. But what I'm going to do is move it and shift it over here. And I'm going to also go back in, and I need to move that crown. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go and try to. Okay, I'm going to have to start over because I need to do that within the same, apparently within the same thing here. Okay. All right, it's doing something funky here. Let me start over here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is start over here. Do the magic grabs. There we go. Let me let it. It's not letting me grab the crown. Interesting. Okay. So what we can do is instead of grabbing the envelope, we can attempt to grab just the crown this time. Not sure why that's not grabbing like it should. Let's do this. Try grabbing it this way. Okay. Yes, that works. So we're going to slide that out of the way. And then we'll go back in and try to grab this. That should work. All right. So now we can move this out of the way. We can take this and we can put her here. I'm going to just resize her. We can even, let's do this. Oops. Well. Let's see if it'll let us just move her all together. Grab her this way so we can move that out of the way. And then we're going to replace it with the actual invitation. Now, this one looks like it reproduced pretty well, but I don't know that for a fact. So now we can kind of just turn it, but we have our background the way we want it. We can take this, we can move it back up to the front. like that. And then we can move our to the front, and we can tilt it or tilt this a little bit more. We could even take this and, do the larger invitation thing. Envelope. And we could fix it so that it's just enough to go right under and send it backwards. So there's lots of different ways that you can do that. So you can work with these images however you want to. We're going to go back in here. So if you like parts of these and you don't like other parts, like I really like this one. I think it turned out really well. And it does represent the invitation. It says every little girl deserves a royal celebration. So this one I think actually turned out very well. And so I would say that this one with the eliminating of that and this one were my two favorites out of the ones that it did, because I like the lighter and the way that the surrounding is on this one. So I like that. So that's just a different way to do it. Let's see what else we can do. I'm going to stick with the princess just because that's what I've got. But, the book is actually, or the playbook is filled with different items. So like if I wanted to, it's got a magic wand, but if I wanted to do sparkle and dreamy glow filter, if I wanted the whitewashed wood, I could add that in. Somehow I clicked out of it. Okay. So, basically you could, so you could do all of that. You could just kind of drag all of these together. And then we go back in. We go here. We choose the invitation again. And we can choose the number of ads we want. Remember that when you're doing this, it is using your generations. But anyway, and we can put this and just put create a mock-up, a trendy. I found that trendy will sometimes trigger it to find very popular, looks. Mock-up for this invitation using a sparkly mini tiara, crown, magic wand, faux pearls or costume jewelry, and fabric or paper. Let's say fabric. Let's just do rose petals. And then we want to go back and grab some of these like sequin, let's say glitter fabric, I think would be cool. So we can add it in. Glitter fabric. And then we're going to add that last level of the dreamy glow filter and see what we get. And you may think that this is a lot of trouble to work on these mock-ups and put a lot of time into them, but think of it as if you had a brick and mortar store and you wanted to sell your product, then you merchandise it. These are like the little windows or the little on-shelf displays for our products. So if those mock-ups aren't right, if you don't spend as much time on your mock-ups as you do on your product, then you have a good product that's merchandised poorly. And the public just, they have a certain way of looking at things, and they want to be attracted to your product, and that's the way they get attracted to it, is through the mock-ups. And you have to pique their interest. You have to stop them in their tracks when they're scrolling through for on Etsy, and they're scrolling all those things. You want your image to stand out. Now this one's not bad. It's the invitation itself looks a tiny bit blurry, but this one's not really bad. This one's kind of cute. I would do away with some of these and make some little tweaks, but it definitely it has some promise. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take the one that each one of these, it kind of redid the prompt for it. So I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to grab this prompt. And on that one, I did not tell it no text, and that's why we ended up getting a lot of text on here. Now, this one wouldn't work, but what would work is to use this frame and then overlay it with your actual invitation. So that would work that way. Okay, so we're going to go back to some of the other options that we have used to create mock-ups before. And, I have created just the very basic one. And, whoops, I went into the wrong one. Sorry about that. Let's go back up here. Let's go to the mock-up. Where is it? It's in here. The mock-up creator, I think it is. So we're going to browse for that same image. And we're going to just do it in the mock-up creator and see what it, the difference between the two. This one we can do up to 4. Same aspect ratio. So we're going to use that. And then we're just going to generate the images. Let's see what we get. The really cool thing about Artistly is you have several tools that you can do these mock-ups with. And what the Mastering Mockups book does is it gives you the wording and stuff to put together scenes the way that you want to. Okay. Okay, so I don't like those as well. But now remember that was the prompt that it created for this to get that. So it's not the original prompt that was put in. The problem is that, like with this one, and I'm going to copy and try it too and see. The problem with it is that whenever you put your prompt in, if you don't save what you instruct it to do, when it comes up with the result, it has changed it and made it into a different prompt. So you don't know how to go back to that. Now this is kind of cute with the little presents and stuff. That's a flat lay that's kind of cute. I didn't notice it the other. And then the little child holding it, that's kind of cute. I probably would take the face part out and just use the hands. One great thing about this is that you may not have thought about is once you get an image like this that has the hands like this, you can probably take it into Canva and remove the hands so that you can use it with another invitation as well. So look at all the individual components that it creates. Like, see, I could take this, the fairy wand. I could take the pearls. I could take the tiara. I could take all those different things and remove them using that magic grab and use them and create my own scene builder so that I could just do it from the, the ground up kind of a thing. So I'm going to go back over here. to the mockup creator. I have to grab the picture again. And then we're going to try that other prompt. Whoops. Okay. I'm going to put no text. And we'll see what it does. Leave it at that. Do 4. Now, by far my favorite pretty much is taking them into Canva and kind of, getting the background and stuff, and then taking it, magic grabbing what I need to overlay. Now that one's cute. Those are kind of cute. The pearls are a little bit, those are an individual item that's been added. So I could have put a strand of pearls on there, and it would have given me a different result. Now, when you mash regenerate on these, you know that it's not going to let you change the prompt. It's just going to regenerate that particular image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over in a couple of different generators and paste that prompt and see what we get. See if we just get a base. It does not have my image here, so it's not going to put my product in there. But let's just see kind of what it does. Yeah. So it did give us a spread, but it doesn't have my image in it. So let's do this. Let's say this just says Alana Princess Invitation. I'm going to change that. I'm going to put this as a blank invitation. And we can remove and put slightly off center. That's fine. Okay, and then where it says pearls, wherever it says pearls, pearls. Okay. I'm going to put a strand because there we go. And I'm just going to do 3 and see what this does. So be sure if you're generating these with your product, though, that you do double check and make sure that your product is reproduced the way it's, because this is a product photo. So your product needs to be on there properly, not like, now see, this is kind of cute. And this gives us the blank. We could take this in and we can take away what we don't want of it. Let's redo this one again. Whoops. Let's go back and look at the other ones. I didn't really look at them well. Okay, so let's work with this one. We'll pop it back over here into Canva. And I'm inside here already. So let's see how quickly we could turn this one into a really nice mock-up. Okay, so we're really going to want to remove this, and I don't like that. So we're going to be trying to do that. Edit, go to the magic grab. Let's let it kind of, okay, so we can do that one. We can grab it. Okay, and then we can go back in. We can grab the others as well. Okay, we can grab this. Okay. And I don't think it'll let me grab the words. but I can go into the magic eraser if it does not. Yeah, it's not going to let me do that. So, okay, so we've got this and this that we can move off, and then this. We can go to magic eraser. I'm not sure why it's not going into the magic eraser. Okay, we're going to go to the uploads, grab our invitation, and we're just going to place it right over our blank like this. There we go. And it already has a little shadow there. We're going to put this over the top. We're actually going to, let's enlarge it a little bit. And then this we're going to put right here. And we're going to bring it to the front. So that's pretty. And then what we can also do is we can leave that. We could add some sparkles if we wanted to over it. We've got it like this. And go to elements and just type sparkles. And remember that you can use some of the elements since you're not selling the actual, this is a mock-up and it's not being sold to use. It's just going to be on your ad. They're not going to have access to it. Then you can use a lot of things that maybe you couldn't really use. Here's some sparkles, and we could actually shift those to the back so that they're on the fabric and they're not on the actual invitation. So that's how you would do that. So anyway, pop back in here. Okay, and I'm going to grab this whole thing and just do it just like this and see how our base. The other one was one that was, amended in that whole process. So we're going to go back in and we're going to just do the regular here. We're not even doing it in the mock-up or anything. We're leaving it there. We're selecting 3 and we'll see what this does because that's that base prompt. And it's not quite as important to be super original on your marketing. I mean, as far as, this is kind of cute. This looks like a baby's first or something. It kind of reminds me of that sort of looks. So that is cute. And that would be super simple. You'd only move the crown a little bit. This one is cute too. Look how cute that is. And got this one is really cute with the, oh, that's the one we just did. Sorry about that. I did 3. This one, not sure. I'm not sure. It kind of needs something. I like that crown though. So you could grab the crown. See, it will be so easy to use some of these elements on something else. So you could grab that crown and, as you're generating these things, you could, take and create your own little scene creator for the next time that you need to do it. You just copy and then start making your own little scene creator over here. You've seen those. So then you already have a crown. And then on here we had this little piece. So you could put that there. And then the next time you're wanting to just build something, then you have all these little objects that you don't have to go over here and hunt them because you've got your own little library of them that you've set up. Now let's see. Go to uploads and so let's see if we can grab these 2 pieces and maybe the rows to Okay, we want to grab this. And then we want to grab that crown. And then we'd like to grab the little flower, the little rose. There. Okay. So now we have all these objects, and I'm just going to actually drag them over here and put them on my scene creator page here. And you see that sometimes when you move it, it is going to leave a spot. That's why it's nice to go back and put it right back over there. Here's another crown. And then we have the wand. So see, we're building our little scene creator. We've got crowns. We've got the wands. And, you know, to be honest with you, you could sell these little scene creators too for other people. So you could put your little pack together and then they could build their own little scenes with them. So let's look here. I already did that one. I don't see anything in that one. So let's go back and look at these others to see if there's objects that we could pull out. Like I like this one. I like the star thing there. Let me go back here and see what else we've got. Those crowns are a little too small. Now I really like this one. I like that wand a lot. So we'll go back over here. And we're going to do both of those. Okay, so we're going to go back into, I love the Magic Grab. It's one of my favorite new tools. Okay, we're going to grab that. It's just absolutely one of my favorite new tools. It revolutionizes how you, and we want that. I don't think that did just right. I think that didn't do it together like it should have. It must be in two pieces. Oh, the reason that was not doing correctly was because I still had that highlighted all by itself. Okay, we're going to do this. And then we're going to have to make sure you select the whole image first. I want this rose. There we go. Grab it. That gives us 3 more objects for our scene. So I'm going to take this, and here's another crown that has a little spot in the background. I'd have to edit it. Let's see, magic eraser. Let me see if I can get it tiny enough to eliminate that. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so we got the crown, we've got the star, and I'm just going to leave the other piece and just keep the star, which is cool. And we want the flower, the rose. So all of these are, you know, I'm basically building like a whole little scene creator right here. So that's cool. I'm not going to go any further with that, but you see how you can do that. That can be a separate product. That can be just for your benefit. You know, like you could get these little cupcakes and all of these little objects right here. You could grab them, you know, and it would just be really cool. Your hands, you know, this hand reaching here, all those things that you can do. And let's pop back into the, I'll go back to the table of contents. You can just see kind of how it's all set up. So basically, you've got invitations, you've got shower invitations, you've got wedding invitations. And when you look at these things, they're broken down into like suggested props, backdrop ideas, lighting and tone. You get some prop starters. Uh, you get them for all sorts of things. Like this is a whole set here. You know, you get a sample prompt to sort of get you in that whole layout where it includes all the envelope and everything. But then you can change out the backdrops, you can change out the lighting and the different prompts. You know, you could put a candle here, or it's got a ceramic dish now. You could do a candle, you could do a fountain pen. You could do some ribbon and stuff, you know, so you can just change all those things out. So every single one, like this one is, let's see what it's a whimsical woodland wedding invitation. So, you know, it gives you sort of some woodland things that you can do. And let me just show you that. I'll use the sample prompt here just to show you how that can look. Here, just paste it. So it's perfectly fine to use those where it inserts your invitation. Just be sure that your invitation is, see, this is pretty. Shows you how you've got little fairy lights and everything. So this will be a great backdrop for that theme. So that's what the, just a little another sneak peek into the Mastering Mockups playbook, and how you can actually use Canva Pro to isolate those individual little elements so that you can use them in the future, or you can create packs of scene creators for other creators and sell those as a creator, you know, a business to business type of product for them to build their own mock-ups and everything. There are still people that want to do them manually, and they look for these scene creators to do them manually. And sometimes you might want to do those. But anyway, so I hope you've enjoyed this little video. I tried to make it a little bit shorter than some of the other ones, but I did want to pop on and just kind of show you in the concept of using that ad creator, how it can be used for the mock-ups, and the things that you need to be looking out for, particularly when you're using that or the mock-up creator. Because like I said, the AI is reimagining your image that you've already done that is your end product, and you want to make sure that that end product is represented correctly. So don't just glance at it and think that that mock-up is, you know, you glance at it and you see, like for instance on this one, this is a perfect example. If you look down here and you look at this, you know, first glance, oh, that's pretty, but it's not the invitation that people would be getting. It's not the invitation. So you could use the mock-up. You just have to overlay this with your particular, you know, image. And I would probably take these out and then just sit this somewhere else. So, you know, if you're creative, then you can make it work. And just a little hack, a little tip. Okay, so let's just say you're doing invitations, okay, and you know that you're going to have certain themes, okay? Sit down and take a day and make up a lot of mock-ups for, you know, basically you're going to know that your invitation shape is the same. Either it's going to be vertical or it's going to be horizontal. And if you sit down and you do all of this in like one day or a half a day or something, and you get all those mock-ups already made, you can spend a little bit of time, they'll be good. And then you don't have everything so divided up. So if you do And I've done it this way. I'm not knocking anybody for doing it that way because I have done it this way where you do one pack at a time. So that means you have to work on mock-ups. You have to work on the background removal and the upscaling and the 300 DPI. And then you've got your actual creation process that comes before all of that. And then you have the listing process. The problem is that when you get in the mode and in the zone and you start working with it, the less times you have to stop and pick up something else, then you get more momentum and you're able to create better. It saves you time. You're actually more creative that way, and you end up with a better end product because you're not rushing to get a mock-up done so that you can do that. You can focus on your mock-ups, on making them as good as they can be, and then all you have to do is then insert your product. Now, another way to do this, and before I leave, I know I had already kind of said we were leaving, but let me just bring something else out to you. So if you're going to try doing those mock-ups that way, we can go back to, let me find the right one. This is off here. Okay, that's not it. I think it's this one. Okay, let's just use this as an example. Okay, so and I'm going to make a copy of it. Duplicate the page. Okay, so what we have is we've created this mock-up, right? Okay, so instead of, you could use this over and over again, but you can also put a frame because you could drag another, and let me just see if I can find one quickly. Folders. Go to designs here. See if I can find another invitation of any kind that I can drag over there. Well, I'll just do this. I'll just go to one of the uploads and I'll just drag some. I'll drag this. So see, you can drag anything in there. You don't have to put a frame or anything because you've already got that image there. And you can replace that image. So the image itself of the invitation is sort of like, so it makes it almost like into a frame. So you can save this template and then you can basically, and I'll move this back because you wouldn't have had to move that if I'd have thought about it. So you could basically go back in and all you do is drag your image like that. So you can use these same mock-ups, and let's just say we like this background. Whoops, went out of it. Let's just say we like this background and everything. We could drag another image in and we could change out the props. So instead of having, and we have this one, but instead of this crown, and let me just make a copy. Instead of this crown here, we go over here and we have all these other elements. Let's say I want to do this one. I can copy it. And then I can go over here and I can remove this one and paste this different crown there. See how cool that is? So you can work it that way. So when you get these set up, do a brand template or something so that you can go back in and you can reuse them, wiggle the things around, and that'll also save you some time and be really creative. Like, you could have used this, say you wanted this one. If we had removed from, where's the one I changed? This one. Let's just say I wanted to remove this one. I'd go back here, over here, back to the magic grab, and then I'd try to grab that wand. And it's not going to let me, I don't think. Let's see. Oh, actually it did. Let's see if I can get, yes, okay. So we can grab that whole wand. It's just a little finicky. So now we can take that wand away, which actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it over here because we didn't have it over here. There we go. And then I'm going to take and make a copy of this one and take it back over here. And I'm going to insert this one. And just turn it the way I want it. And there we have a whole different look there. See? Very cool. All right, now I promise I'm going to be going now. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and you've learned a little bit more about doing mock-ups and how that you can use your Canva Pro subscription that you probably already own to use the magic grab and to move those objects around, how you can create some scene creators for yourself and possibly for some future projects and products, and also how you can drag and drop back into those once you've reset your product. Like I said, the biggest thing to remember is to make sure that your product is your product. It's not a copy that is slightly like your product, because I promise you that if somebody looks at that ad or that mock-up and what the product is that they get is different, they're going to be giving you bad reviews and stuff. So you want to just double check that when you use the AI tools are great, but we know they're not always accurate. So always when you're dragging in and importing in and it is making your particular product a part of that, it's not worth getting bad reviews. Just pull it in, move things around, and redo it, in Canva Pro if you have to. So be sure and check out my description for all my affiliate links for Artistly, for Pixel Cut, for all those different things. And then also it has the links to the AI Artist Playbook series. I'm up to 10 playbooks now. So be sure and check out the store. If you are in the EU, you have to purchase through Gumroad. And of course, Gumroad needs a code. There is a code down in the description that is current. Now, I'm not going to promise that code will always work, but you can certainly try it. It is one of those things where I just don't have control. This video will probably outlive the coupon, but you can definitely check it. And, you can always drop me a line in the comments and say, hey, that coupon code didn't work. Do you currently have one if we're like in the future? But if you're watching it right now, the coupon code should work. And on Etsy, I don't have to use coupon codes. I just set a sale. So they're on sale. It's on sale. And I do have the new playbook, which is the AI Artist Playbook. It is Mastering Character Creation, Body Language, and Emotions. Be sure and check that out too. Be sure and subscribe, like the video, and be sure and join my Facebook group, because we have a lot of fun there. So until next time, thank you for watching and happy creating.